Okay, so for this deep dive, you sent us the website for Deep Impact AG.
Right.
And we're gonna, well, like really try to get to the heart of their services.
Yeah.
They do software development, AI solutions, and cloud services, from what I can see.
Uh-huh.
So consider this, I guess, like your express lane to understanding,
Okay.
what they do, how they do it, what makes them tick.
Yeah, I mean, Deep Impact AG, they've been around, I think, since 2012.
Yeah, it says here 2012.
So they've been in the game for a while now, and
Yeah.
they're really positioning themselves as like experts in,
Yeah.
these really key digital areas,
Mm-hmm.
modern software, cutting edge AI,
Yeah.
and,
It seems like very robust cloud infrastructure.
yeah, exactly. And their whole thing seems to be that they're like the partner
Yeah.
businesses need to like navigate all this.
Yeah, it's a lot
It's a lot out there
to like keep up with.
to keep up with. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's unpack all this, right? So looking through their site, I'd
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
they've done a good job of
Yeah.
organizing their offerings.
Yeah.
So I think like a logical place to start is with their software development and cloud services.
Right.
They divide that into 4 key areas, it looks like,
Yeah.
and then we can kind of jump into,
Right.
their 5 core AI service offerings.
Okay.
And we should also, I think, touch on like
Yeah.
their history, where they came from, what expertise they highlight,
Uh-huh.
and the team, the people behind it all.
Right. Yeah.
And by the end of this, you should have, like, I hope, a really solid understanding of,
Yeah.
what they can do and whether they'd be a good fit
A good fit for, yeah.
for you, for your situation. So
Yeah, that sounds good.
sounds good. Okay, great. So
Really.
software development services, like what jumped out at you there?
Well, I think the first thing that really grabs your attention is their focus on custom applications.
Uh-huh.
It's not, like they're not pushing off the shelf solutions.
Right.
It's all about building from the ground up,
Mm-hmm.
tailored to the client's specific needs and vision. So,
Right. Right.
yeah, they use the phrase comprehensive approach to digital excellence.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that too.
Which kind of, to me, suggests that they're thinking about,
Mm-hmm.
the entire journey of, digital development.
Mm-hmm. Not just the
Yeah,
coding aspect of it, right?
exactly. Yeah, it's more than just
Yeah.
delivering lines of code. Yeah.
And then they specifically mentioned this design sprint.
Yeah, I was curious about that too.
So what's the core idea behind that?
Well, tell me.
Yeah.
What do they say?
Okay, well this is where I think it gets like genuinely interesting, if you're someone who's looking to innovate, right?
Right. Yeah.
This design sprint, they describe it as like this way to like rapidly test
Right.
your
Ideas.
your new ideas. And their aim is to take a concept
Okay.
and turn it into like a real prototype
Right.
fast, like incredibly quickly.
Like, how quick are we talking?
Like days, they're saying, in a matter of days.
Oh, wow.
Which I think is like the real value here for, for anyone.
Yeah.
Because it cuts down so much time and cost of,
Sure.
figuring out if an idea is viable. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. Traditionally, you'd spend months in development
Yeah.
before you even know if, like,
Yeah.
the core assumption is right or not.
Yeah. And then you're sunk. Right.
Right.
So I like that they're
Yeah.
like compressing that learning into, just a few days.
Right.
And you get early feedback from users. So you're minimizing risk
Uh-huh.
in the product development or, process development.
Yeah. So it's really kind of a risk mitigation strategy
Mhm.
packaged up in
And it is nice. Yeah.
an agile framework.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's interesting.
So going from custom software, we can talk about like the backbone that supports it all.
Uh-huh.
They really highlight their cloud services,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they seem to be focused on Amazon Web Services, AWS.
Oh, right. AWS. Yeah.
So what did you see there?
Okay. So the cloud services section, it's
Okay.
it's all about providing like scalable infrastructures
Yeah.
based on AWS. So
Right.
they really hit on the key advantages, things like
Like what?
top performance, flexibility, and strong security.
Oh yeah, you got to have that.
Yeah, so it seems like they, understand the AWS ecosystem
Hmm.
and can actually build and manage those environments like effectively
Right. Yeah.
for their clients.
That makes sense. And it's so foundational, I think,
Totally.
for so many companies now. So
Yeah.
then they have this consulting and strategy section.
Right.
Which you mentioned kind of ties into, the
Yeah.
software and cloud stuff. So what's their take on that?
Well, they're positioning, they're consulting and strategy as providing like really in-depth advice and crafting like actual digital strategies that can help a company,
right,
bring its vision to life.
Bring their vision to life, yeah.
So it's not,
So it's more than...
It's not just the technical bits and pieces.
Right.
It's understanding the
why.
The why behind it all.
The why behind it all, yeah.
And how it fits into the big picture.
Right, and I think they're trying to bring together like their technical knowledge with, industry specific knowledge.
Right.
To make sure that, the recommendations they're giving lead to lasting success.
Yeah, sustainable success, yeah.
So they want to be, I think, like a strategic guide.
Right. That makes sense.
Not just the tactical team, yeah.
Yeah.
So that strategic layer is so critical, I think. I think a well thought out strategy is really like the foundation of any successful tech implementation.
Yeah, if you don't have that, you're
building on sand, yeah.
Yeah, you're building on sand.
So let's shift gears a bit to what seems to be a huge area of focus for them, AI services.
Okay.
And they mentioned getting into this back in 2017?
Yeah, 2017, that's right.
So what's the story there?
Yeah, okay. So they really highlight their move into AI as like a way to help businesses, really harness the power of data-driven models.
Okay.
And they break it down into 5 like core areas, which I think gives us a really nice structure for, understanding their specific expertise, right?
Yeah.
So the first one they list is KI and TWICLM.
Okay, and that translates to...
It's AI development.
Okay, got it.
So this seems to be where like the rubber meets the road, so to speak, with their AI work. They're they're talking about the actual development and implementation of AI solutions, and they're using a bunch of cutting edge tech, machine learning, natural language processing, computer vision, things like that.
So the whole like...
the whole toolkit.
Yeah.
But what's interesting to me is like they emphasize an agile approach.
Okay, what does that mean in this context?
So they talk about things like proof of concept, which is basically, POC. Yeah, it's like a small scale test to see if the idea actually works.
Okay.
And then like prototyping, and then they talk about, making sure that the solution integrates smoothly into the company's systems.
Okay.
So this agile methodology, it makes me think that they're really focused on
like delivering tangible results quickly and making sure that their solutions actually like work seamlessly with, whatever the client already has.
Yeah, that makes sense.
In place. So
because you don't want to
reinvent the wheel.
Right. You want to integrate into the existing infrastructure.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yes. So, okay.
Their second AI service area is KI strategy and baritone.
Right.
Which is
AI strategy and consulting.
AI strategy and consulting.
Yeah, in English.
Okay. So how does this differ from their more general consulting?
Well, this seems to be laser focused on AI.
Okay.
They really emphasize like helping companies create clear and actionable plans for, successful AI initiatives, which includes like helping them identify, the most relevant use cases for AI within, their specific business.
And then, like, figuring out, okay, is this even feasible from a technical standpoint?
Right.
Is it feasible from, like, a business standpoint?
Totally.
And then, how do we actually implement these solutions?
Right.
And they even talk about offering workshops.
Oh, interesting.
And internal training.
Correct.
So it's not just...
So they're really trying to...
Like, a handover of a strategic document. It's about,
building that knowledge into...
Building an internal AI understanding, so...
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, their third area...
Okay.
is KI-Basierte Prozessautomatisierung.
Right.
Which I think translates to...
AI-based process automation.
AI-based process automation.
Yeah.
In English.
Okay. So that sounds like a game changer.
Oh, yeah. Huge, huge for efficiency.
For efficiency, yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me about that one.
Okay, so here they're talking about like using the power of RPA.
Robotic process automation and AI, right? To automate all these like repetitive tasks that just,
slow business down.
Yeah, really bog things down. And they give some examples like handling documents, processing documents and deploying chatbots, things like that. Okay. And the benefits are pretty clear.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You increase efficiency, you reduce errors because, you're taking
the human out of it.
You're taking the human out of that process, and you get, you can have 247 availability.
Yeah,
for, certain functions.
That's really about human capabilities.
Human capabilities, yeah. And freeing up those valuable resources for more, I don't know, creative work, yeah.
Totally. The fourth AI service area is interesting.
Okay.
It's KI-Agenten and Operatoren.
Right.
Which is...
Yeah, that's AI agents and operators.
AI agents and operators, yeah.
In English.
Okay, so what are we talking about here?
This sounds like, we're moving to a much more sophisticated level of automation.
Right.
So they describe it as like developing, these autonomous agents that can actually coordinate and manage multiple AI systems. So the goal is to, enable complex decision making to just happen. Automatically, while still ensuring transparency and maintaining, like, human oversight.
Right, human control, yeah.
I don't want to let the robots just go wild.
Yeah, exactly. But think of it like,
right.
You have AI managers overseeing. Yeah, other AI workers.
Yeah. And this suggests, I think, a move toward these, like, more interconnected and intelligent AI systems that can handle much more complex. Yeah, and dynamic tasks.
Yeah, that's a big step.
Yeah.
Toward like truly intelligent automation.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then their fifth and final AI area is KI-Forschung.
Right, which is
AI research.
AI research.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are they doing there?
So this is, I think, what really shows their commitment to staying at the forefront,
staying at the forefront,
of the AI field. So they talk about doing contract research, doing feasibility studies, developing prototypes to test like the latest discoveries in a business setting, right?
Yeah.
So
it's not just theoretical.
Not just theoretical.
It's applied research.
It's applied, yeah. And they emphasize their work, collaborations with universities, research institutions.
Right.
So that's another signal, I think, that they're really all about innovation.
Yeah.
And bringing that, new knowledge into real-world applications.
Real-world applications, yeah. So they're not just implementing existing AI.
Right.
They're helping to develop what's next.
They're on the bleeding edge.
The bleeding edge, yeah.
Yeah, which I think is cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So
that gives us a good overview, I think, of their AI capability.
Absolutely, yeah.
So now let's circle back to their overall history.
Okay.
and the expertise they emphasize.
Yeah, so they reiterate that they were founded in 2012, focusing on,
software solutions.
Innovative software solutions.
Right.
And then they expanded into AI in 2017. So, they're positioning themselves as like
early adopters.
Early adopters, yeah, and pioneers, I'd say, in that space.
Yeah.
They really highlight their years of experience combined with their
research.
Yeah, involvement in research makes them like
a dependable partner.
The reliable partner, for companies that are
undergoing these digital transformations.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that timeline shows, I think,
it's a
clear evolution.
A clear evolution.
And a really proactive approach
they're not,
to staying relevant, They're
not sitting still. No, they're moving with the times.
Yeah. Yeah. So to give us, a more tangible sense of their experience, they also have this selected references section.
Okay, so what stood out to you there?
Okay, so they have a couple of key examples. So under software entwicklung, who was software development.
Right. They mention AMAG Stop Plus Go.
Okay.
And Die Julius Baer mobile community app.
Okay.
So those are concrete examples,
right,
of applications that they built.
Okay, I got it.
And then under künstliche Intelligenz, which is artificial intelligence, they highlight this AVAX's Sentinel im BVB Stadion, which is an innovation project of the DFL.
Okay.
So that's a really specific and pretty high-profile sample of their,
their AI capabilities.
AI capabilities in action.
In action, yeah.
In this case, in the sports and media sector.
Right.
And then they have a couple more under software development, like mobile ID, which they call a milestone for secure digital authentication.
Okay.
And then their work with Comparis.
Okay.
Which I think it was about modernizing and replacing like older systems. So.
Right. So getting rid of that legacy technology.
Yeah.
Legacy technology, yeah.
That can be a big hurdle for some companies.
Yeah, totally. So I think those references give us like...
They provide like...
social proof. Right.
Social proof, yeah.
That they've actually done this work.
Uh-huh.
And in, all these different industries.
It's different industries, different...
Yeah, different sectors.
Different sectors, yeah.
So...
That's helpful.
It is. It's helpful, so...
Okay, and then they have a section about team culture.
Team and culture, yeah.
Which is team and culture.
Yeah.
So, what did they share there?
Well, they describe their team as like a blend of experienced developers, creative thinkers, and what they call visionary AI experts.
Oh,
so it sounds like a really good mix.
A good mix of people, yeah.
Yeah, and they emphasize this work environment, that encourages curiosity
and fosters innovation. They describe it as open, modern,
a supportive culture.
Yeah, supportive culture. So
that's key, I think. Because
in this industry.
Yeah, if you don't have that, you're not going to be able to attract the best talent,
the right people.
Yeah, and deliver those innovative solutions.
Yeah, exactly.
And then lastly, they have this insight stories section.
Oh, yeah.
Which is which can be interesting because it's like a more informal look at their work. So
So what did you find there?
What did you see?
Well, a couple things stood out to me.
Right.
One was vom Design-Sprint zur Vollfunktionsfähigen Applikation in Übertragen.
Okay, so in English.
Which is basically from design sprint to fully functional application in just 4 days.
Okay, so
it really hits home, like the speed and efficiency of that design sprint process. And then another one was Unklar Anforderungen und Scope Creep still killer in Softwareprojekten, which means unclear requirements and scope creep silent killers in software projects.
Yeah, that's a classic.
So it shows they understand like
the pitfall,
the common challenges that can happen
absolutely
in software development. So
yeah, and it shows that they have like that real world experience
and to back it up,
To back it up, yeah. Okay, and then what was the last one?
Oh, and the last one was LLM SEO, die Zukunft der Suchmaschinenoptimierung für Unternehmen.
Which is
LLM SEO, the future of search engine optimization for companies.
Okay, interesting.
So it shows they're engaging with like really current, cutting edge topics.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
they're on top of the trends.
Yeah.
Those insights, I think, really give a valuable look into their real world experience, their awareness of challenges, and their finger on the pulse of what's emerging. So
So to wrap up this deep dive of Deep Impact AG.
Deep Impact AG, based on their
that's on their website.
Yeah.
Seems like they offer
a really comprehensive
set of services.
Services that span
got to span the whole digital spectrum.
The whole digital spectrum. We're talking,
some software,
custom software,
cloud solutions
using AWS,
strategic consulting,
AI service, like the whole 9 yards, and their history, since 2012, and their early move into AI in 2017. It shows like
a real commitment,
to innovation, and helping businesses with their
digital transformation. Yeah, digital transformation.
So, I think for you as the listener,
the
takeaway is to really consider, how these, capabilities might align with your specific challenges or what you're most curious about.
Yeah.
Is it custom software?
Right.
Is it cloud infrastructure?
Yeah.
Is it,
strategic guidance.
AI
application.
Yeah, AI applications.
Like what resonates with you?
Yeah, what resonates with what you're seeing.
Right.
What you're needing right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think